This is the simulator we are going to use with Lab 2. This is a really neat program. It's best used with Internet Explorer, and you're going to need to make sure your Java and Flash Player are up to date. There's a lot of pieces to it, so I wanted to give you a quick introduction to how to work with it. The biggest part, of course, is the visual globe. Right? This is neat. There's 4 different lines on here, a stick person, and then the green part, the horizon with your cardinal directions. Down here it gives you information about where the sun is at. You can see if I click and hold the big yellow dot or the sun, a lot of numbers change. Right? So the ones you're going to focus on are the sun's altitude and the sun's azimuth. These are the important ones for the lab today. Okay. Right ascension and declination are terms we're going to use later in the semester that are essentially the latitude and longitude of our celestial sphere, again, later in the semester. Okay. Some of the more intuitive parts are the time and location controls. You can type in a date, right? You can then scroll to a different month, or you can use the black slider tool and slide along. And so if you just slide the date, the time of day is going to stay the same. And so you can compare how the sun is at, this would be 1710 or 5:10 p.m. in February versus March versus the middle of April versus the middle of August. Right? And it's at a particular latitude. So the latitude is here written here. You can use the black slider to slide up and down the earth and see how the angle of the sun or the position of the sun changes on a particular date at a particular time depending on your location. You will notice that it's only latitude you can change. That is because it does not matter where you are longitudinally. What matters in the movement of the sun and other stars is your latitude. So you're going to find our location, which is about 36 degrees north. Okay? And you're going to use the sun to change different times, or you can click and drag the minute and hour hand, or you can directly type in the time of day. Okay. So we're going to be looking at the position of the sun at different times of the day in different locations on Earth. So some of the animation controls you don't really need to work with. If you want to try and make things faster or slower, you can. If you want to get rid of some of the lines, you can. The declination, right, again, that's really your sun's path. You might want to keep that. The ecliptic is something we'll work with later. This is the sun's path on the celestial sphere, so I tend to get rid of that for this lab. The month labels are out because that's just obnoxious. There's too many things there. You can get rid of the part of the sky that's below the horizon. And if you want to, you can get rid of the stick figure. I like the stick figure there. It gives me a point of reference. When you are working on your lab, for the sketching part, the biggest mistake people make is they try and draw from up here, from this view. The lab has a particular direction that it asks you to label. So you can manipulate the ground so it matches that terrain. Because what I want you to be able to easily draw is the sunrise, rises in the east, where it peaks out on the sky, and then where it sets. So you're going to compare those 3 pieces of information, the path in the sky, which includes the high point, the sunrise and the sunset, in those diagrams, and the easiest way is to just sketch what you see. But in order to do that, you have to have your globe arranged correctly. Okay. So again, you can pull the sun along. Okay. You can move the globe around. You can try and get sunrise and sunset times this way. There's a couple different ways you can look at sunrise and sunset. Since I have west over here, I'm going to look at sunset. I can choose when the yellow globe just touches the horizon, when it's about middle of the horizon, when it goes from that light black or light gray to black, or when my sphere touches the bottom part of the horizon. The important part is that you choose one and you stick with it for the entire lab. This is kind of a neat lab once you get around playing with the simulator. Please, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to send me an email or a Canvas message.